because you just seem to manifest miracles in a way that they have always wanted, but a way that they've always struggled to. Now they look at you like, how can I make her doubt herself? How can I make her look down on herself so that she does not have the ability to manifest such good things the way that she naturally does? What is poppin', YouTube? It is Sydney Island here. That is Island with a Y, not an S. How you doing? Hello? I'm waiting for you to tell me. I mean, we're in the same proximity, so you gotta tell me. I'm just joking. All right. So if y'all don't know what proximity delusion is, y'all gonna have to check out my other videos. Right, I actually recommend that y'all check those videos out, as well as the video that was created by a YouTuber called Your Level Up Guru. She's the one that gave me the idea of what proximity delusion is. I have to give credit where credit is due. It's not a term that I created. It's a term that I learned from YouTube, and then I decided to do research on it, and also add my own experience with proximity delusion to this topic. So I advise y'all to watch all of those videos that I have created about proximity delusion before y'all watch this one, because how do you protect yourself from something that you don't really know what it is? And that's what this video was all about, how to protect yourself from proximity delusion. A huge part of why I'm making this video is because I have been a victim of some mother effing, I feel like I gotta say, I have been a victim of some serious narcissistic, diabolical proximity delusion. And that is proximity delusion in the home and proximity delusion in the workplace, right? And most of the time this has been from women, right? But not all the time. And I mentioned proximity delusion between the sexes. I mentioned that in my other videos because I have a lot of experience with this, like a lot of experience. I honestly feel that the narcissistic abuse that I experienced as the middle child with family members, it also was another form of proximity delusion. So let me give you a brief description, a brief definition of what proximity delusion is. So proximity delusion, in the case of these videos that I'm making, a lot of it is about when women have proximity delusion towards other women. And what this is when these women, especially in the workplace, feel that they are entitled to a friendship with other women in the workplace. And when you don't give them that attention, when you don't give them the time of day, when you don't lower those boundaries and let them into your personal life, despite them not needing to be there and them not, it not being a requirement for them to be there in the workplace, they still feel that they should be there, right? I should be your bestie. They see you as competition. This is the way I see it. They see you as competition. And have you ever heard of the term, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer? Some women operate like that. Some women will try to get close to a woman that they see as competition in the workplace in hopes that they can somehow sliver in and learn that woman's weaknesses. Okay? This may sound intense, but I'm speaking from experience. Okay? This is not just like some textbook stuff, right? Like this, I didn't, get this information from reading a textbook. I got this information from experience. I'm almost 30 and I've worked a lot of jobs. And over the years, women have always felt threatened by me and they've always felt entitled to me. They've always felt a sense of a need to control me, right? And that's been, my life lessons, just recently, I'm really actually just recently finally learning how to put up boundaries against women. And I really feel that that comes from mommy issues, you know, having, oh, it's hard to talk about this when it comes to the whole, yeah. So, how to protect yourself against these women who feel that they deserve some type of piece of you just because you work in the same environment. You know, how do you protect yourself from women that are delusional like this and they try to sabotage your job? They try to ruin your reputation in the workplace. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's stressful. It gives you a lot of anxiety. You lose sleep at night over it. And sometimes you even have nightmares about it. Well, you don't want to deal with it anymore. You're tired of dealing with it. You say to yourself, I have been dealing with this for 30 years. I have been dealing with this for 45 years. I have been dealing with this for my whole life. I am 62 years old. I don't want to deal with this anymore. This video is for whoever of whatever age. So this video is for you women who are tired of being targeted because people see you as a threat. Because you're physically attractive, because you're charismatic, because you're intelligent, because you're good at your job, because you get more male attention than them, because you make more money than them, because you just seem to manifest miracles in a way that they have always wanted, but a way that they've always struggled to. Now they look at you like, how can I make her doubt herself? How can I make her look down on herself so that she does not have the ability to manifest such good things the way that she naturally does? So from experience, I've made mistakes when it comes to what they call quote unquote monitoring spirits in the workplace. You know, making the mistake, oh my goodness, making the mistake of telling them about some personal things in my life and then having them run and gossip to the manager about it and making me look bad. Next thing you know, the manager is repeating the very same thing that I said to this, I'm thinking of a specific memory, but repeating the very same thing that I said to this specific supervisor, right? The manager above her. The manager is repeating it in a employee meeting, a group employee meeting. That's the very same thing that I told to this supervisor, right? And it turns out from doing research, this supervisor was a monitoring spirit. She loved getting information about my personal life. And every time she got it, every time she could see me talking to somebody else and see, you know, she would try to figure out what we were talking about. So I ended up, well, this is from the very beginning. Let's not even say I ended up. From the very beginning, I was a target because I carried myself a little differently than everybody else in, you know, at this particular job that I'm thinking of. But this is more than one. This is so many jobs, you know, because I don't really fit in, you know. Yeah. So, and I'm going to go into how I don't fit in and why I don't fit in other, you know, another video. I've mentioned it in the other proximity delusion videos, but I didn't go into detail. If y'all want me to go into detail, you know what? Y'all ain't gotta want me to. I'm going to. I need it. It's therapy. So the way to protect yourself from proximity delusion is as follows. Number one, be very observant. That's number one. Be very, very observant. Okay. Observe how people interact with each other. In whatever environment this is where the monitoring spirits are, or the narcissistic abusers or narcissistic spirits are, observe how these people operate. Observe how they communicate. It will give you a lead on what kind of people you're dealing with. Okay? And not only that, but it will tell you who you can and can't trust. Right? So number two, don't assume that everybody has good intentions towards you. Okay? Don't assume that because somebody smiles at you, that behind that smile is another smile. Behind that smile is a frown. With some of them, not all of them, obviously. There are, of course, plenty of coworkers that they smile at you and it's genuine. But I'm speaking from experience. Of just my experience now at the job that I'm working now. And I actually have to say I'm doing a pretty good job of putting the boundary up. I've been passing all of the tests that the universe has been throwing at me when it comes to this person. These people. Finally, I've learned my lesson. Don't assume that everybody has good intentions towards you. So you can't be blurting stuff out. And that's one of my points, is to keep things to yourself. But we can get there in a minute. Don't assume that everybody is your friend. And don't assume that when somebody asks you a question about your apartment or your partner or your finances or your parents or anything, don't assume that they're asking because they genuinely care about you or because they're trying to be friends or they're trying to get to know you. There are some people that are monitoring spirits, and I'm going to put the definition on the screen, that are asking you these questions so that they can use it against you because they automatically see you as a threat. And they're trying to figure out what your weaknesses are and where you are failing at so that then they can run back and tell another coworker, and it's even worse when they run and tell a coworker that's in power like a manager or supervisor, right? And they will do that. So keep everything to yourself, right? Number 3, pay attention to your differences, right? Pay attention to the difference between you and your coworkers. Do they have a life? I always get asked, do they have a life? Are they married? Do they live in a house? Are they financially stable? Are they divorced? Pay attention to the way they dress, their eating habits, even their physical health. The aspects of their physical health. That matters a lot, especially with family members and also coworkers from my experience, right? A lot of people who feel that they have difficulty having power over their physical body, those that have physical illness, these people do have a tendency to be very resentful, especially towards women that they think are very physically healthy. And from my experience, this is nothing but an illusion because your girl got celiac disease, right? I cannot eat wheat gluten. I've had a cyst rupture on my ovaries. I've had asthma ever since I was a kid, and I had a severe asthma, 2 back-to-back, 2 severe asthma attacks in 2021. I still have breathing issues. I have severe acid reflux to the point where I feel nauseous and queasy a lot, right? So my physical body is not perfect. It is not. I'm just good at putting on makeup and wearing a cute outfit and smiling, right? Because I've been through a lot. And I know that the way to get to a higher plane is to be grateful and to enjoy life, despite, the things in your life that aren't exactly the way you want. Not many people can't eat wheat gluten. And these same people who can eat whatever, whenever, are jealous of me. The person who can't eat Papa John's freaking pizza, which is literally my favorite pizza, right? I believe they have been starting to make gluten-free pizza, but get this. I am severely lactose intolerant, so I still can't eat it because of the cheese. Like when I eat cheese, I'm in physical pain. It is agonizing. Like I have this weird pain in my pelvis to the point where I feel like I'm developing IBS or something. So I try to avoid dairy, but my digestive system is extremely sensitive. I can't even eat too much sugar, right? So pay attention to the differences in you and that other person, because they will tell you, I have suffered from this illness, and I've just got surgery here. And those same people, a lot of the times, they are jealous towards you because they think that you're healthier than them. And that's a huge one. That is a psychological, a thing that can mess a woman or a man up psychologically when they are having physical illnesses and they don't know how to get out of it, and they see somebody that they think is healthier than them, and they just riddled with just hate and jealousy. And that's something that I've experienced with family members through narcissistic abuse. And I'm thinking to myself, but I don't want to say that I'm not healthy, because I never want to necessarily put that out into the universe, but I know that I can stand to be healthier. I have severe eczema to the point where sometimes I can't sleep at night. So it's really aggravating when people hate me for something that they think I don't have when I'm suffering. So pay attention to the people's lives around you, right? If they're lacking in some area, sometimes they will try to rob you in that same area. So you can avoid proximity delusion. When people try to hurt you or control you because you're in the same workplace, or you're in the same home, or you're in the same building, or you're a part of the same organization or whatever, you can avoid them trying to destroy your reputation or ruin your financial situation, or ruin your romantic relationship. You can avoid these things by having picked up on certain information about them in their life. Number 4, a way to protect yourself against proximity delusion and some of the negative effects of the quote unquote pretty girl curse is to don't tell people your business. Don't tell people which special event you've been invited to. Don't tell people your plans for your career. Don't tell people about the guy that you're going on a date with, especially, if we're talking about women on women. I'm not saying that you can't trust every single woman. That's not what I'm saying. But if you don't know this woman very well and she's already shown red flags to you that she's jealous or untrustworthy or whatever, you're not going to want to tell her that you are about to go on a date with somebody, okay? So, especially if she's single. But I don't even like thinking about that. Because I've had a similar experience with a coworker. It was this woman who was a whole lot older than me, and we was kind of cool. It was kind of cool, we didn't have any friction. We would work together pretty well, and she seemed to like me, and we seemed to have cool conversations. And I told her, don't tell people your business. I told her that me and this coworker had a thing, like we were seeing each other, but that, it was over, right? We just had a little thing, but we realized that, we really, I just didn't want to deal with him anymore, to be honest. That's the truth, but I didn't tell her all of that. I just felt like he was toxic and whatever. So, I just didn't feel like the situation was going anywhere. So I told her, yeah, me and so-and-so, it was a coworker, which never date your coworkers, but I did. We all make mistakes. And so I told her, because I didn't think that she was like the other ones who was like more gossipy and petty and immature and all. I thought she was a little bit more mature. And that she was just unbothered, but she really wasn't. She was just as weak as the rest of them. And I told her, yeah, me and so-and-so, we had a thing, we went on some dates. We were intimate, so-and-so. Because I thought we were like coworker friends, right? And she tried to act like, she just was like, I told her, I said, I want to tell you, but I had this, my intuition is very strong. It always tells me, don't do it. My intuition told me, you sure you want to tell her? In the middle of me, I was like, I don't know if I want to tell you about this thing. And she was like, come on, just tell me. Like, I don't be listening to gossip. Like, that was what she said. She was like, I don't be listening to the gossip. I don't even know what be going on. I just be minding my business. I don't even be interacting with these people like that, trying to act clueless. And then I finally was like, yeah, me and so had a little thing, right? And she was just like, oh, okay, y'all kind of look alike with the glasses or whatever. Just trying to act like, like no big deal, right? And then next thing you know, like shortly after that, she starts to show interest in this same dude that I had, relations with. Mind you, this woman never showed, and she even said it when I told her that we had a thing. She was like, I never looked at him. I've never looked at that guy. He never was attractive to me. And that's what she said to me right after I confessed. And next thing you know, she's showing all this interest in this guy. And I'm like, I thought you didn't think he was attractive. He wasn't your type. He looked too geeky for you, right? That's pretty much what she was saying. With the glasses, like y'all look alike, y'all both geeks. I don't like geeks like that. Yeah, that's your type. You like them geeks because you a geek, whatever. I don't take offense. I'm definitely a geek, and I own that. I love being a geek. I love being a nerd. And so, nerd power. Wait, nerd, nerd power. Yeah. Anyway, so the next thing you know, she's like, and I feel like she was doing it to try to make me feel some type of way. I could be wrong, but every time I would come around, she'd be like giving him all these compliments. And she'd be like, oh, your hair looks so good. Oh, you look so good. Oh, that jacket on you. Oh my gosh, you got so much swag. Ooh, where you get that jacket from? And she was doing all that right in front of me. And mind you, these two have worked together many times. And this woman acted like this dude did not exist. From my experience. And in my mind, I'm thinking, go ahead and have her. The man got 5 kids. He got 2 different baby mamas. He living with one of the baby mamas. He got a lot of drama with the baby mama to the point where he couldn't even text me. He got a whole another fiance while he's staying with another baby mama. It's just nothing but pure drama. Have at him. You want him? Have at him. You're making yourself look foolish. And if you do get a chance to get a hold of him, you're not going to enjoy it. Because he was very manipulative. Cancer. Cancer's zodiac sign, right? And she was a Leo, right? I'm a Taurus, right? I'm just giving y'all a little something, sprinkle a little something in there, right? And I'm like, this don't make me feel right, you know? And to be honest with y'all, if I can be 100% honest, I told her it was over because I thought it was over. But next thing you know, he reaching out to me and we starting to connect again. And right around the time she's saying what she's saying, and so I'm feeling protective. I'm feeling possessive because I'm like, I still kind of got feelings for this guy. It's not really quite over. And she was just all up his butt. One day, all of a sudden, she just was all up his butt. Like, oh, you look so good. Oh, you look, compliment him. And she would always do it specifically around me. Like, you see how I can get him? You so I can, girl, I don't care. If you want my leftovers, you can have it. But people will do that when they're intimidated and they're threatened, and they feel that they can't take your power away from you, so they can at least take your quote unquote man. That wasn't even my damn man. They can take your quote unquote work husband. He wasn't even my work husband, my work friend. So I'm like, good luck. And these women, they think they're doing something, and all they're doing is putting themselves in a trap. Because what would happen is, let's say they clicked up. They didn't click up because he ended up, having to leave the job. So she was left with nothing because I left shortly after that. But let's say they did end up in a relationship. That man had a whole lot of mess going on that no woman in their right mind would want to deal with. So I say, if you want him, have at him. It ain't going to be long until you coming back to me like, Sid, why didn't you tell me that man was so crazy? And then I'll be like, I never told you to date him, But that goes back to me saying, don't tell your business. If I could go back in the past, I would not have told her. But I'm glad that I did because it showed her true colors. And I thought it was cool. I didn't have no issues with her. But it is what it is, right? But don't tell people your business because they will see that as an opportunity. And it just showed me that so many women just want to get at me. So many women just want what I have. So many women just want to try to make me feel some type of way. And what they don't realize is this place is a here today, gone tomorrow place for me. This is your home. You work your butt off. You said you've been working a server job since 16 and you 46. I don't care to be a server. I'm not a server anymore. Because it was a 3-month here today, gone tomorrow job. And you over here trying to fight for my scraps. It's ridiculous. But have at it. I don't care. It works for you. But it doesn't. It doesn't even work for them. I thought you wanted a husband. I thought you wanted like an actual good quality man. Well, I can't have that, so I can at least have Sydney's quote unquote leftovers. Good luck. Have fun. And mind you, the same woman she was very controlling towards me. The same woman. I want to throw that out there. It was weird, y'all. And I feel like I got to say this. Her and another narcissistic woman. It was an older woman. They both was actually the same exact age. Oh my God, I just realized that. Both of these two women, it was another woman at this job, were both super controlling. I could tell that they were like, who's going to get reins over Sydney? Who's going to get to control Sydney? I guess I'm just so valuable that whoever has control over Sydney wins the game. What game? What game? The game of how long can I control this woman for the next 2 weeks until she disappears and I'm still back at being a loser again? Call me mean, but you're a loser. If you, and I hate to say this because, you know, there may be some women who are in their mid 40s who are servers, you know, because this is a server job that may feel, you know, they may be working in that field, and you're not a loser if you're not a loser if you're happy doing that. But these two women were stressed the F out financially. They were stressed out. They hardly ever smiled, right? But for some reason, who can control over Sydney? And I noticed that when I would be, you know, on the phone or somewhere, I'd be, you know, in my little world, just away from the crowd, I would see them both watching me, like, who, when Sydney get off the phone, who gonna go swooping? And then it's, you know, the woman that was trying to chase after my ex fling thing, as soon as she saw me get off the phone, and they both tried, it was like, come on. And I said, no, I'm on the phone. So she walked away. Then the next woman comes up and she's like, let me show you in the back. Let me show you, you know, because they felt like, okay, I win. But you don't win, because I am not an object. And I get passionate with anger because you didn't win anything, because I'm gone. And not only that, but because I'm not an object. I'm a grown woman and I know what you are doing. And you think you're winning? How? I'm gone now, right? And you're still at the same job that you've been working at for the past 20 years. What did you gain out of trying to control the female that was walking through? I was just passing through. I was never meant to work there for longer than 3 months. I never work at jobs like that for longer than that. And this is not me tooting my own horn, but I don't want to say that because this video is not me. I'm the best. I'm the best. This is my experience. I was very quiet. I was very reserved. But when I spoke, right? I've seen grown men run when Sydney mad. Number 5, how to avoid proximity delusion and what feels like the pretty girl curse. The curses of being quote unquote pretty, but for me it's not even just pretty, it's being powerful, it's being aware of who you are, it's being a star seed, it's being what so many YouTubers call the chosen one, which I refrain from saying, but when I watch those videos I really do resonate with the message, right? But I don't ever want to really call myself that, but for the sake of this video, let's do it. So number 5, don't invest any emotion into your coworkers. When your coworker's crying, you, oh my God, I'm broke. My man left me. Oh my God, my car broke down. Don't invest any emotion. I'm not saying that you can't help them. I'm not saying that you can't help them. I'm not saying that you can't have empathy, because I'm an empath. And that's really what it is a fight for my empathy. And then I get to a point where I'm like, you know what? I can't be nice no more, because people are so full of crap. And I don't feel guilty for saying it. There are some people that you just feel so lucky to have them in your life. And I feel like those people are very far and few between. But that's just how I feel right now. I may feel different 5 months from now. I'm going in a positive direction. So I'm going to end up interacting with people of a more higher frequency. So this is how I feel now, right? So don't invest any emotion in your coworkers. A lot of the times coworkers were used as poor me. You know, I'm going through so much. That's what the woman did who was flirting with this dude that I, you know, had a little fling with. She did come to work talking about how hard it was for her all the time. And she ended up confessing to somebody else right in front of me that I was her therapist. That's what she said. She said, yeah, Sydney's like my therapist. And I'm sitting here like, I am? Since when? Like, I didn't sign up for that. But she was like, yes, this girl right here, she my therapist. And I'm like, scratching my head. And the cartoons, you know, they scratch their head when they're confused. I'm like, I don't even have a license in psychology or being a counselor. Okay. I mean, we're all just servers, but okay. Right? And I was that for her. She claimed I was her therapist, but then you go and you flirt with the dude that I claim I just had relations with right in my face and expect that I'm not supposed to feel no type of way. I'm telling you, I really think these women wanted me to rise up and cuss them out or fight them away. I don't know what they wanted, but I really feel that they wanted to fight or they wanted to provoke something in me or whatever. I don't know what they wanted, but I didn't do anything. I ignored her flirting with him. I ignored it. so that she wouldn't get the power that she was trying to get. Right? So don't invest any emotion, because there were times when I tried to give her advice and it's like, for what? This is how she ended up. And a lot of the times when people see that you're getting emotional about their personal life and what they got going on, they're like, oh, I can use that empathy to my advantage. I hate to even get to this point, but I feel like so many people are full of crap, man. So many people are full of crap. So many people don't have the same values as you do. So many people feel like that the only way that they can communicate with another person is to manipulate them. They can't even be their authentic selves and just be honest. They have to play an effing game. And sometimes that game is garnering energy from your emotional world. If I can get Sydney's emotion, right? If I can get so-and-so's emotion, if I can get them to have emotion towards my struggles, I got them. I can control them. And you don't want that, especially not in the workplace. But you don't want that anywhere. You don't want that anywhere. And that's why I was the family scapegoat, was because I was an empath, right? I'm still an empath. And I would always care when my family members would have a little hissy fits and temper tantrums, grown adults screaming, flailing arms, banging their hands against the wall, cussing, saying, I'm going to hit Sydney, I'm going to, you know. I always cared. And I should never have cared. Not for a split second. It would have kept me from being abused. And they really got to my self-esteem. They really made me think that I was just a rag for people to wipe their ass crack with. And then I realized that I was the complete opposite of that. That I was a very valuable individual. And that's why they had it out for me. Had I not given them emotion whenever they wanted, they wouldn't have been able to abuse me. I did not expect for this video to be this long. I really didn't. So, number 6, trust your intuition. When your intuition tells you that somebody cannot be trusted, listen. And don't change your mind. Okay? A lot of us women are very intuitive. Not only women are intuitive. I've met men who are intuitive too. But these videos, this one right here is really geared more towards women. But, you know, if you're a man and you're watching this video and it resonates, by all means, watch it. But there are times when I had a strong feeling of negative, like it was a negative feeling. They didn't really do anything to me specifically. It's just their presence. I would get this overwhelming feeling of anxiety, and I would stutter, and my stomach would feel like it's turning. And if you get any of those symptoms and that person didn't really do anything to you, quote unquote, but it's just the way they ask you certain questions or the way they look at you, you feel kind of like you're being robbed, or they're trying to dig into your energy and they're trying to steal something from you. Trust that feeling, because they're going to show you their true colors sooner or later. And when they show you those true colors, believe them. I believe that's a Maya Angelou quote. I love Maya Angelou. That's like my idol, right? Trust your intuition. That goes for anybody that gives you bad vibes. You just don't know. You just can't quite put your finger on it. But it's something about them that rubs you the wrong way. And you feel unsafe. You know, you feel unsafe in their presence. Listen to that. And the last is number 7. How to protect yourself against proximity delusion, and a lot of, narcissistic attacks and attacks from monitoring spirits and things like that. Pray for protection. Pray for protection. Pray to the Most High. Pray to God. Ask God to put a hedge of protection over you. Ask God to put a hedge of divine light over you. Especially ask God to put that over you when you interact with these negative spirits, with these negative people. And also pray that God reveal to you the shadows of the people around you. Co-workers, family members, business partners, whatever. Pray and ask God to reveal to you who really has your back and who doesn't. If you start to suspect that you may be a victim of proximity delusion, it's time to pray, because it may get hard. But there is always a way out. Because hey, you can always quit. You can always quit. You ain't got to deal with these raggedy mofos. But if you can't quit because your checks, you're depending on the checks, right? You're depending on the checks to take care of your family, your children, your husband, your wife. And you can't leave as soon as you want. What you want is to pray for protection while you are still in it. Okay? Don't just suffer through it. Pray. Ask God to remove the monitoring spirits, remove the narcissists, remove these people who, have this entitlement towards you. Okay? It's imperative. It really is. And I'm not just making this video and saying these things for no reason. I've come into contact with people who really tried to make me look like I was way worse at my job than what I was, because they were so threatened by how good at my job I was. And they were like, well, I'm so much older than you. I should be better at this position than you, but I'm not. So let me try to find a way to make the manager look at you like you suck. So whenever you tell me anything about your history, your past, or whatever you're going through, I'm going to tell it to the manager so that she can look at you like you suck. And look at me like I'm the hero, running to her with information about the coworkers that are just so bad, and you need to protect yourself against the baddie waddy, even though I'm 20 years older than her. How am I the baddie waddy, and you got to protect yourself against someone that's young enough to be your daughter, and that's not pathetic to you? Okay, but anyway, those are the many different ways to protect yourself against proximity delusion. This is part 2 of that. The video naturally split on my phone, and so I just have to go with it. But if you start to suspect anything, start praying. Okay? Start paying attention, and also document, y'all. Document everything, right? Type it in. If you have to go to a manager above a manager, if that's what you need to do, I personally wouldn't recommend doing that until this last resort and you feel like you have no other option. Because I've been in experiences where I've done that, and I kind of regretted it, or at least I wish I would have waited a little bit longer, because then it made me even more of a target. Me doing research on this, originally I was just all about narcissistic abuse with the family. But the more I learn about these things, I realized that narcissistic abuse is affecting people in not just the home, but in the workplace. And that's really important, because then it can start to affect your finances, because you're not good at protecting yourself against people who see you as a threat. That is all I have for you today. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Would you like for me to sing you a song? Protect yourself from these raggedy mother effers. Protect yourself from this raggedy mother effers trying to F with you. Protect yourself from these raggedy people trying to bring you down. You don't have to give them all. You don't have to give them all your power, just because that's what they want from you. Make 'em mad. Make 'em mad. Ooh, let's do this again. Make 'em mad. Is that better? Make 'em mad. Make 'em sad. Woo-hoo. Somebody's onto you. Ooh, girl. Woo-hoo. The star seed is onto you. Woo-hoo. You're crying in the bathroom, 'cause you can't pull the wool over. You can't pull the wool over their eyes anymore. So cry, cry, cry.